Well, thanks for your time today, Daniel.
Thank
So, if you don't mind, let's talk about your background. So, what do you do and how did you
Sure.
get here?
So I'm the personal training director at LA Fitness for the 32nd Camelback location.
Okay.
So that kind of entails me running the personal training division within the club itself. So I have 8 trainers and about 250 clients, and my primary role is getting new people engaged in the programs, getting new people for one-on-one training, and then developing my staff on how to take care of them better.
Wow.
So I've been
Okay.
within LA Fitness since January of this year.
Okay.
Prior to that, I worked at a company called Lifetime Fitness where I was doing same concept management, personal training, sales. At Lifetime, they had supplement sales and labs and a bunch of other science involved in it. And the scope of the business was a little bit bigger. So the LA is a wonderful company to work for. They're very simplistic in the fact that most people come to the gym and they don't know what they're doing for training. So we have training packages to teach them how to lift properly, do program design, progression, periodization, and things like that. At Lifetime, there's a lot of complexity behind it where they do lab panels and blood work and VO2 max testing
Oh my
and
gosh.
that's fun stuff. Before I got to Lifetime, I actually was a trainer at LA Fitness. So
Oh,
I
okay.
did part-time training at LA Fitness for about 8 years while I was finishing up my schooling, and then went into Lifetime for about 6.5 years, and then I got a position over here because there's faster career growth and upward movement within being at LA.
Oh my
Lifetime's a wonderful company, don't get me wrong, they just take a while to kind of promote and move up, and I was
Okay.
stuck, and I wanted to
Gotcha.
move up a little quicker.
gosh. Okay. Is this what you always wanted to do?
Kind of. I started wanting to be an architect, and then I found out that math is really hard, and I wanted nothing to do with math. I did algebra, pre-calc, and my sophomore year in high school I took a geometry class, and first quarter in high school I got an A, second I got a B, third I got a C, fourth I got a D. It
Right.
progressively
As you
wrapped, and I
were
went,
doing.
this is awful. So then I found out maybe I'm not designed to do math, nor can I draw stuff. I can't write word diddly, so architecture is not in the field.
Okay.
I went to school up in Seattle Pacific University. I played Division II soccer up there, and went into the pre-med program, and was like, well, maybe I want to do physical therapy, doctor, something cool. Then found out chemistry is very similar to math, and I went, not a chance. So my sophomore year, I actually ended up leaving Seattle Pacific. I studied exercise science for 2 years, and I enjoy the aspect behind exercise science. But the big concept is when you're done, what do you do? Most people don't just go, hey, I'm a research exercise scientist. I'm a personal trainer, nutritionist, physical therapist, something. So I knew I was going to have to do more schooling outside of my undergrad. I took an athletic training course when I was in Seattle, and there's a picture of a famous USC running back, and I can't remember who it is, but he's on his stomach. It's early 2000s, and his
Okay.
foot's pointing towards the sky. Normally, when you're on your stomach, your feet are pointing towards the ground. And so I saw that, and I went, what on earth did he do? And I was fascinated with the musculoskeletal system. So he completely dislocated his knee, tore everything. And so I saw that, and I went, oh my gosh, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. So I started looking around for programs. I'm originally from Tucson, so when I left Seattle, I was like, well, I've got to find a program that has an AT program, and NAU does. So my undergrad, my alma mater is Northern Arizona University. So I got 2 years of exercise science, and then about 3.5 years worth of athletic training through NAU. That program is awesome because it focuses simply on musculoskeletal injuries, prevention, evaluation, and treatment. So when I got done with that, I graduated, passed my national cert, so I'm actually a licensed and certified athletic trainer.
Okay.
So if I wanted to, I could be the cool dude who carries a fanny pack, tapes the ankles, tell you tore your ACL, and do rehab. I could go into a physical therapy clinic if I wanted to. I could go into a football team, or I could be an athletic trainer for high school or college or something like that. I didn't go that route because I found, one, the pay was very challenging. Two, at the time, my wife and I were just getting married, and we're about to have our first kiddo. And the hours that go into being a high school athletic trainer is a lot. It's a wonderful opportunity and a wonderful career. But I had gone back and got a master's degree to work like 80 hours a week, 800 hours a week, on top of being the athletic trainer there and doing all the sports programs. So my certified took me through everything to kind of break down his pay, and we found out he makes $1.78 an hour.
Oh my.
And he was at the largest high school in Gilbert. He was at Campo Verde, was the high school down there. And he
Okay.
found out that based on the number of students that he teaches. He taught 3 classes.
Okay.
All the football players that he worked with, the hours he had to put in, the grading, the lessons, all that. He made $1.78 an hour.
Wow.
And I was like, probably not going to be for me.
Hmm.
So I took that knowledge and I went, well, what do I really want to do? I want to help people. And I went, okay, well, that can go into a clinic, sports, or it can be a trainer. And I was hired with Lifetime Fitness at the time, and I fell in love with helping people. And I was like, great, this is wonderful. They'll have better hours. So I've been selling personal training for about 8 years doing that. And so part of LA, or part of Lifetime is getting new clients and going walking the floor, prospecting, teaching, and talking. And after about 1.5 years, I got bored of being a trainer.
Okay.
Because of the element where I can't help everyone that I talk to. I'm very limited on the time that I can do that with. And so on average, you can work with about 25 people at any one given time and remember their family, know their nutrition, know their program design, and then your brain can't really figure out any more than that. So I was tapped on how many people I could impact, how many people I could help.
Okay.
So then I looked into the management and I went, well, if I can manage 5, 10, 20 trainers, well, they all have 25 to 30 people. Well, let's do math because I'm not good at math. I'm a trainer. I count to 10 reps, 15, so trainers can do math. But the idea, though, is if I have 15 trainers and they all have 25 clients, that's 500 people that I'm now impacting.
Okay.
And I can help with their program design. I can help with their knowledge and their background. And most people go into training learning the basic squats and lunges and pushes. I have a complete therapy background. You go, hey, Mrs. Jones, your back really hurts. Probably not a disc-related issue unless you have radicular pain down in your legs. It's probably because your glutes don't fire, your hips don't properly activate. You forward flex, so your iliopsoas is really tight.
Yeah.
And I can teach my trainers the actual science behind how to therapy and how to clinically fix somebody.
Wow.
So then I moved through that for a while.
Okay.
I worked at a club in North Scottsdale. Had 42 trainers, which was a delight to deal with personalities for the most part.
Yeah.
We had about 600 clients that were active that I helped oversee with 2 other managers. And then I moved to LA earlier this year, and I've been here ever since.
Wow.
It's
Okay.
a long-winded version of kind of what I've come through and done.
No,
So.
that's really interesting. So what would you say, what are some of the best and worst aspects of your job?
Best aspects is I get to help people every day. Kind of the focus is my job is trying to, we call it saving a life. There's a study done a couple years ago, I can't remember where, on average if you can do strength training twice a week, you can add 400 to 600 weeks onto your life. That's 8 to 10 years. Twice a week, just two times a week of strength training, that's it. You can add almost 10 years of life onto a human being.
Wow.
So we get to save a life, or we get to extend a life. So that's one of the beauties behind what I do. I get to hang out with trainers all day long. I get to wear pajamas to work. I have two daughters. My oldest is 4 months. She thinks dad's favorite color is black. Since getting out of college, I worked at a gym in Seattle. The uniform was black. I worked at a gym in Flagstaff. The uniform was black. Lifetime, it's black, and LA Fitness, it's black. So I just wear black all the dadgum time. And my wonderful tan color makes it stand out really well. But helping people, teaching trainers, I get really passionate about developing people to be better. Whether that's through how to have fun conversations, because not everyone's good about crucial conversations because we sit and stare at a phone all the time. How to go talk about how do you progress someone, how someone's stuck at their body fat, how do you help them? Is it hormonal based, is it nutrition based? Do we need to get some supplementation fixed? Do you get out of a power phase, go to a hypertrophy phase? Do you need to go into a maintenance? I love doing that. In my office, I have vision boards for every one of my trainers to go, what do you want to accomplish out of your life? The fun thing is I'm actually the only PT director in Arizona, maybe one of the few in the company that actually does that.
Wow.
Because the idea is, do you want to be a trainer the rest of your life? It's a very rare individual that does. To make a career personal trainer is very rare, very unique. Probably less than 2 to 3% of individuals who get into the field stay there forever, because can you train 30 people for the rest of your life if you get really good? That's kind of hard. So some people go start their own business, they open up their own shop, they go back to physical therapy school, they go do another career field, they go into real estate, they do who knows what it is. But the vision boards of my staff are all over the walls, and every time they accomplish something, they get to mark it off. So one of my kids just got his NASM PES, so he's a performance enhancement specialist now. There's a big X through it on the back of my board.
Nice.
So when people come in and do their
That's
appointments and
really
their consults, they see that and they go, what are all this stuff? It's my staff. That's the trainers that are here. Do you want to hang out with us? Let us
Wow.
teach you. Let us help you and do that. So those are probably the two biggest things: hanging out with trainers and helping people. The biggest challenge, it's a sales gig. I have my metrics and my numbers that I have to hit. I have to save a certain amount of lives every month, or I get in trouble.
Gotcha.
When you look at sales, everyone is afraid of selling. But you think of the gas station you go to get gas. You think of the toilet paper that you go to, the stores that you shop at. You're sold everything throughout the course of your day. We just don't think of it that way. Selling training is simply finding a need for someone. Mrs. Jones, what do you need? What do you want? Well, we have to find a happy medium, because I want to look and have a six-pack and look like Chris Helmsworth and Thor all the time. What do I need to keep my low back in one piece so nothing hurts?
Yeah.
So how do I find a happy medium in between that? Well, you want to be able to drop 30 pounds and hang out with your grandkids. You need 1 to 2 times a week of training to make sure you're doing this properly. Let's find a plan in between.
Okay.
And so from an advice point of view, people who are initially getting into this field, if you focus on people's needs, you're going to succeed every time.
Awesome.
If you focus on, I have to make more money, you'll never succeed. These people who are driven and focus on money, they'll never succeed, because that's all they focus on. Money, 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 money. We all have our bills to pay, but if you can authentically go, I really do want to help people. Well, how do you help people? You find their need, and you
Okay.
meet their need.
Ooh.
Do you maybe need nutrition coaching? Great. Maybe you don't need to do strength training for a while. Maybe you need to focus on some food journals, some macro, micro counting, some supplementation. Maybe you just need to get your blood work fixed from your doctor. Maybe you have some thyroid imbalances. Maybe you have lipid panel problems. How do I help you?
Wow.
And the biggest thing is, when I got into this field, it was never driven by finances, because we
Okay.
all have our bills to pay. I went in every day and went, I'm going to help someone, I'm going to help someone, I'm going to help someone, I'm going to help someone.
Awesome.
And I've been blessed to be able to have a family of 4 as a 29-year-old and actually do pretty well. And we have our first house. We bought it 5 years ago, and I was a 25-year-old who owned a home,
Wow. Incredible.
because the mindset every day I went in is, I'm going to try to help somebody. If I can help one more person today, then that's a good day in my book. Sure, the sales happen with it, but I always go into trying to help someone more and more and more. And not everyone wants it, period. The hardest thing is when I get told no by someone who desperately needs it, but they don't feel it's an investment and a commitment. A lot of people view personal training as an expense. Well, that's just an extra expense onto my day. No, it's not. Do you view your 401k, your IRA, or your Roth as an expense,
Right.
or as an investment? So it's terminology.
Yeah.
Because, hey, Mrs. Jones, you haven't done anything ever in your entire life. This is an investment in your health. I met with a lady today, so I'll get really personal with this.
That's okay.
68 years old. She's a librarian. Really fascinating job. I also love this because I hear the most amazing stories. I meet everybody. It's really cool.
Okay.
Has never worked out. Has never done the strength training program. She's 68, and I went,
Wow.
oh my gosh. I was like, do you know what a squat is? And she goes, no. And I was like, okay. Do you know what a dumbbell is? And she just was like, we got done with everything. And my job in the PT role is to find something, 1, from a frequency recommendation, but 2, from a financial. I have to find something that comfortably fits within people's budget.
Okay.
Just spending $200 a month, is that going to cause you to not be able to put food on your table? Is spending $600 a month not going to put food on your table? My job, as you get higher up in a company and in a role, is to do that, because I can push 3 times a week on somebody, but is it going to stress them out and cause more issues and problems down the road?
Okay.
Probably. So, Mrs. Jones, Mr. Jones, can you comfortably spend $150 to $200 a month on your health? Sure, great. Let's start with that, because I can get someone in the door and they're getting some help. Some help is always better than none.
Yeah.
So I got all the way down. We have a plan that we call the sandwich a day plan. It breaks down to $4.72 per day.
Oh, wow.
So one of the jokes that we use, can you go buy a Subway sandwich every day and be fine, and not have your account go zero? And I asked that. I said, can you go buy it, get like $5 Subway? I think it's meatball day, maybe. I don't know. The longer you're in this, you have all sorts of sales gimmicks and tactics, because you have to have fun. Because you have to
Okay.
convince someone that they need the help too.
Yeah.
So I use children's
See the
analogies. I
benefit,
use
yeah.
Thomas the Train. I use a bunch of stuff.
Okay.
I'll talk about EPOC in a second.
Okay.
But I went through it and I said, can you go to Subway right now, if I asked you to, and go buy a $5 footlong?
Okay.
She goes, yes. And I went, wonderful. That fits. Does it not? And she goes, yes. And I was like, let's please just do this. You have no idea what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And she went, no. And I went, why not? And she goes, I don't want to spend it. And I was like, okay, why not? Like, help me understand why not. She joined the gym a month and a half ago. The first time she's been to the gym was with me today. So 6 weeks ago, she got her membership.
Oh.
But she's going to figure this out on her own.
Oh, dear.
Right? Mm-hmm. So the hardest thing is dealing with that. So my wife hears it all the time. I go home and I just vent for a little bit. And I go, these 3 people, I wanted to just, oh, but I can't. Mm-hmm. And I go, it's right there.
Gosh.
Why do you not want to do this? One, my background. I speak with an incredible authority. I'm also obnoxiously confident in what I do and what I know. Mm-hmm. By the time you're done talking to me and having fun, it sounds very arrogant, and I apologize, it comes across the way. You're kind of foolish if you don't want to do any training whatsoever. Because I can point out deficiencies in your hip, in your shoulders, in your knees, in your necks, and show you movements that help. Most of the time you get done at the point where you go, oh my gosh, I feel fantastic. Wonderful. If you continue doing this, it's going to help.
Yeah.
And some people just go, no. I go, why not? You don't want to invest in your house. So I asked her the question. I said, do you have a 401k and a Roth? She goes, I do. I said, wonderful. You financially invested in your future for the rest of your life, right? Totally. Awesome. Why aren't you doing it for your health? I went back and forth for like 30 minutes.
Wow.
And she ended up leaving. I gave her the workout that I did. And I went, hey, if you need anything, I'm always here as a resource to help. I'm not offended because people don't say no to me for training. They 95% of the time say no to themselves. They're not ready to go, I can admit I need help. It's the biggest thing that we're going to see. People can't go, I need someone to teach me what to do.
Right.
My daughter struggles like no one's business to have me put her shoes on because she wants to learn to tie her shoe. She's 4, she's 4.5. But she asks dad for help to tie her shoe. Adults, we're stuck in ways we don't want to ask for help. Which is why when our back goes out, when our shoulder is out, we have to, I got to talk to an orthopedic surgeon. You have to ask for help. When your car gets broken down, you have to ask for help. We just neglect the human body that way. And people go, well, I have a car payment I have to make. Great. If your car broke down and blew up, could you buy another one tomorrow? Absolutely. If your house got taken away in a tornado, could you buy another one? Might take you a little bit, but you can't. What if that happened to your body?
Yeah.
We have one.
Yeah, you only have one.
So why on earth not do something to take care of it?
Gosh.
So
Wow.
that is probably the hardest, outside of the arguments that I have from people, but accountability is always fun. People sometimes don't like taking responsibility for certain things and doing that, but the most heart-wrenching challenge is especially in the beginning of my career doing this. My first 1 to 2 years, I took everyone who said no incredibly personally. I'd get emotionally broken down. My wife would see it. And then I'm like, what? You're hopeless. In a loving, respectful kind of way.
Absolutely.
There's a lady that she's on my list to call in about a week.
Okay.
It has been 4 months. She's been in twice to the gym in 4 months. And the text messages are obnoxious. She goes, I'm still thinking about training. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's been 4 months, so just tell me no. Because our job's to follow up. Hey, how's it going?
Right.
All right.
Wow.
But she's been in twice in 4 months.
Wow.
But she's still thinking about getting some accountability.
Right.
Really? Like, no way. People are fun.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Well, I see how it's rewarding. I see the benefits.
Always.
Do you have any other life advice for people? How to be happy outside of necessarily their career.
Right,
just
sure.
In general.
Laugh
Ooh.
and have fun. The hardest thing that we go through, and you can see it, you look at the news, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I'm not good enough. Someone's better. Someone has more. I want that. I want this. I was 24 when we found out we were pregnant with our first kid. 24. How many of you were 24? My wife called me in between working with a client, and I was like, hey, yeah.
Oh, wow.
The second one was a text message. I almost smacked her. We've been married 8 years, but I was like, woman. But I was like, hey, hold on, my wife's calling real quick. I was like, hey, what's up? I was like, what? It's like, okay, you're finishing the set. I will be right back. Is everything right? It's like, yeah, my wife just told me something happened at the house. I'll be right back. Like, went home, and I never forget it. She was on the bottom step of the house. We lived in Gilbert at the time, and she was crying. And she goes, "What are we going to do?"
Oh.
And I looked and I went, "We're going to bring a life into the world." And she just, you could see it uplift and happen, and hug, kiss, all that fun stuff. And I said, we have been given a privilege and an opportunity to raise a human being in a very rough world. For some reason, or however God wants it, I'm a personal trainer. I'm 6'4", 220 pounds with a 12% body fat. I cannot produce a guy. I have 2 girls. Whatever. Someone told me I need to start eating more pineapples and tomatoes, whatever that means. But I get more, and not to say you need kids to have joy in life.
Yeah.
The perspective that I now have as a 29-year-old is completely different than anyone that I will ever work with. Because I go into work every day going, my primary sole and responsibility is to take care of my family. It's not Daniel anymore. It's not been Daniel for 5 or 6 years. But all the crumb and crap and stuff that comes our way, if you can't laugh, if you can't enjoy it, if you can't have fun, holy cow, it's going to be a miserable next 60 years for me. And I hear things and I see things that I've never wanted to see out of another human being. But coming every day and knowing that if I'm told no, so right now, truth be told, I'm one of the best closers in the district. I have a 47% close rate. So almost 1 in 2 people will see me. I'm 0 for 7 this week. I'm done nothing. I haven't closed anybody. No one wants to talk to Daniel by training. Whatever. Get back up and keep going. But I laugh at almost anything I can think of. My wife is the one person on the planet can make me like that soul hearty laugh. And on the flip side, she always jokes. She goes, "No one has made me laugh like you." And I was like, "Perfect. You'll never find somebody else." But with all of this, if you're not having fun with what you're doing, then go find something else to do. One of the blessings in America, we can do anything we want. You can be an entrepreneur. You can do anything. If you're not having fun doing it, holy crap, get out of it. Don't do it. I enjoy what I do. My boss harps on me for certain things, but he respects my knowledge and authority to run the business of how I can run it, and I can hopefully impact someone's life. Because here's the fun thing: how many students are in your class?
Usually somewhere between 15 and 30.
How many times are you going to see my awesome video? Once.
Right.
So within that, 15 to 30 people are going to see a different perspective on it, and they might go talk to someone different, and they'll pick someone different. So my whole life vision and philosophy is to create a culture that I can impact as many people as I possibly can. And if one person in the class takes one thing of mindless banter that Daniel talks about, then that just spreads and goes. If I ever get promoted and moved out of this club, then I have 10 trainers that will hopefully take in something from me, and I can spread and move and grow and change and save more lives.
Yeah.
But you gotta have fun. You gotta laugh while you do it.
Awesome. Oh, I love that. Are you okay with me sharing your contact info?
Absolutely.
So I'll add that on later on. Awesome.
Okay.
Anything else that you want to share about your job, about life in general that we haven't?
Life in general. There's a motivational guy that I listen to. His name's Simon Sinek. There's a concept called start with why. A lot of people, he's a TED Talk. He's all over the place. Most people know what they do. I'm a personal trainer. How am I a personal trainer? I help people lift weights and blah blah and get in shape. Why do I do what I do? Because I enjoy helping people. Most people start with what they do, and they focus on, well, all I'm gonna focus on is what I do. If you can flip your mindset and go, well, starting with why. Why do you do what you do? I love helping people.
Awesome.
And I want to try to change their lives. How I do that is I happen to work in a gym. I show people how to lift weights properly. I talk about their nutrition. I talk with supplementation. What do? I just happen to be a personal trainer.
Okay.
But most people flip it. And I can convince more people to buy into that, because if you can start with why and understand it, and there's an 18-minute video for TED Talk. If you show it in the class, it's going to change. I told a trainer yesterday, while he was driving back to his club, we do developmental meetings here once in a while. When he was driving back to the club, I said, watch the video as you're driving back. He hadn't had a close, he hadn't signed someone up in a week and a half. He watched the video, he had a 6 o'clock appointment, and at 7 o'clock, the person bought. So he sent me a text, he goes, hey, I got him enrolled. And I said, what did you do different? He goes, I told him why. And I was like, interesting.
Awesome.
So I enjoy doing things like that because I mean that gives me a little kudos in the day. That will in no way benefit my financial status. It won't benefit my club at all. It's not going to benefit a single trainer in my building. It's not going to help my wife whatsoever. But I was able to help someone else. I was able to help a trainer, help someone, and continue my global vision of why I want to do what I want to do.
Wow.
One thing that I do personally is I do a fun book and a developmental book monthly. So every other month, I either read a fun book. I'm a weirdo. I like Stephen King. I like all those like interesting ones.
Sure.
And then I'll read a developmental book, and then I'll alternate. So I'm not the
Oh.
best reader in the world. I got through high school and barely read any of my books. But I read 12 books a year. So my New Year resolution every year is to follow a pattern. I've thankfully been able to do it for 4 years in a row.
Huh.
And so I have 6 developmental books that I always read, and then 6 fun ones that I hang out with and stuff. So I just finished an Ernest Hemingway book, which was super dense. That was really hard for me to get through that.
Okay.
Now I'm starting on a book, John C. Maxwell's, the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. It's a phenomenal book to go, how do you be a better leader?
Okay.
So that's my development book for August. I'm
Okay.
almost done with it, and then September I'll find a fun one to read.
Huh.
I'm always learning,
I like that.
always wanting to do something, and I've been able to do that for a while.
Cool.
So never give up your passion for learning,
Hmm.
for teaching, for doing what you're going to do. But the big thing, well, I said earlier, find out what you want to do, and run after it and run through a brick wall. And if it's teaching people, I can teach people to be healthy in my role, and I can impact more people. If it's one-on-one and you're that one oddball that just only wants to work one-on-one, then do one-on-one and be the best trainer you can possibly be and learn everything you can. I want to have a bigger vision. That's Daniel's vision. I want to help more people. Find out what you want to do, always be learning, and then have fun in life.
Wow. Bam.
Pow, mic dropped out.
Right, yeah, that's great. All right, well, thank you so much.
You're
that
welcome.
was really fun and interesting, so I really appreciate that. That was
It
great.
was fun. It was a blast.